Today, our verse is Matthew 5:44. But I say this to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. These words of Jesus are often quoted, but very difficult to practice. We could categorize these words as part of the hard sayings of Jesus, which are extremely challenging for our everyday life. Few verses before this, Jesus said, "You heard how it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you." Jesus, first of all, gives a quotation from the law, which the people are very familiar with. But then he corrects this law and puts it in the right context. That law of a tooth for a tooth had been given to forestall people getting away with inflicting injuries on others. Jesus, however, brings a new way of life. Love your enemies. What does it mean to love one's enemies? Two questions are pertinent here. Who is the enemy and what is love? The enemy in the Old Testament referred generally to the other nations, those who worship false gods, and the Israelites were to keep a distance from them, lest those nations turn their hearts from the worship of the true God. The Israelite nation was to be the light to those nations. But Jesus changes this idea because his coming has opened the door to the Gentile nations. Therefore, the enmity that existed between Israel and the other nations are abolished. That is why Jesus could sit with the Samaritan woman and relate with non-Jews in the Gospels. For us today, who do we categorize as an enemy? The enemy may have been once a friend from whom I have fallen out, or he or she may be someone I don't like for some reason, or someone I have heard terrible things said about. Whoever it is, how should I relate with that person? Jesus says, love the person. Love is an act of the will, not an act of the emotion. What does this mean? I must choose deliberately to do something good to someone. That is an act of love. But it is an act of the emotion when I am doing it only because I am moved by feelings coming either from pleasure or utility. But if love is based on virtue, it comes from the act of the will to do good. When Jesus says, love your enemies, what he means is to choose to do good always to the person we classify as an enemy. I do not plan evil or repay the person with an evil act or action. This makes sense with the next phrase, pray for those who persecute you. One way of showing love to our enemies or to those who persecute us is to pray for them for a change of heart so that they realize what they are doing. Was that not the prayer of Jesus on the cross? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. Lord, help us to love everyone, even those who treat us badly. Give us the courage and grace to pray for them. Amen. Share this verse. Subscribe if you have not. And let's continue to reflect on a verse each day. God bless you and have a wonderful day.